Oh, hello.
Oh, hello.
And welcome to the Comic Queens podcast. I'm Alex.
And I'm Annie. And now it's time to celebrate Alex's birthday.
Happy birthday to me.
It's really convenient that our birthday months are back to back.
It is. I mean, it's just 2 full months of celebration.
It really is. And if that doesn't just sum us up really pretty perfectly, I don't know what does. But today, Alex has assigned me 2 wonderful stories of her liking, so that we could discuss them here today. So we will be discussing The Dirtiest High and High Class Homos. And let me tell you, it is a very exciting one.
Oh my gosh. I know. I'm so excited about both of these stories. And just like my reason for picking these, I purchased The Dirtiest High, and so I needed to read it anyway. And High Class Homos, I just recently listened to an audiobook called Gwen and Art Are Not in Love, which is a very similar premise to High Class Homos. And I was so excited about it. It was so cute that I just had to pick this next.
You bought the physical copy of the book when we were in Chicago for my actual birthday.
Did I? I did. You are right.
So look at us just sticking with the birthday theme.
It's all coming together.
We didn't even plan it that way. I wish we could say we did. But today we're going to start out talking about The Dirtiest High. This is completed on Manta with, I think, like 6 bonus episodes. I think the main story is like 22 or something.
24, and then 6 bonus episodes, a little bit of an afterword, and some bonus art.
Which is entirely worth it. I'm so
cute.
Oh my gosh, it was precious. So this story kind of caught me by surprise. It wasn't that I expected to not like it. I don't know. Every once in a while, you get those stories. You're like, really? The main story is completed in like 20 some episodes. How in-depth and good can it be? But I love Angel so much.
I do too.
Like, truly, he is kind of a perfect character. He's a shit stirrer.
Yeah. We have a little bit of like a grumpy sunshine, golden retriever, black cat situation going on. Our other main character, Josh, is a self-proclaimed germophobic lawyer. And he is the complete opposite of Angel, and they just work so well together, and I love them both so much. They're perfect.
I know, they're so perfect. So for anyone who has not read this story, you obviously have Josh, the germophobic lawyer. You have Angel, who is working as a custodian in the building, and they very quickly realize when they run into each other at the office that Angel was a one-night stand that Josh had at like the very beginning of the series.
And Josh did not treat him well when he was leaving.
No, he did not. He like threw him out. He's like, you need to get out of here.
He didn't even have time to put his shoes on, and Josh is like, out the door.
So Angel takes some time to process that, and then they run into each other in the office. And I love Angel for this, but it is very obvious. He's just like trying to do whatever he can to kind of like needle Josh now that he knows like I'm going to be running into you a lot.
Yeah.
He ends up hooking up with his coworker in the office.
His arch nemesis coworker.
Yeah. Self-proclaimed arch nemesis.
It seems two-sided though. I feel like they both are on the same wavelength with that one.
Yeah. I think they're both just kind of like, I don't know, needly people.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they're just bound to get on each other's nerves. But this guy, Ryan, who's hooking up with Angel in the office, is a skis because he's engaged to someone else.
Yeah, he's not the greatest character.
No. So, you know what? Ryan's my arch nemesis now.
Oh my gosh. I also love, this is like jumping way to the end, but at the very end of the story, you get to meet Ryan's fiance, and Angel is like, she is so beautiful. What is he doing?
Yeah, what an idiot. Yeah, and it's true. She literally was gorgeous. So you have Angel hooking up with Ryan, and Josh is pissed off about it for multiple reasons. He's like, how could you do that in the workplace? It's dirty.
Guess what he does later? That in the workplace.
Who's to say? Yeah. And Angel's like, it's not dirty. I just cleaned it. But Angel is obviously like interested in Josh. He's probably like a little ticked off about how he got kicked out of the house. I think that's understandable.
Yeah.
It was harsh. But he does end up like going to Josh the next day. And he's like, if you're just upset that I hooked up with your coworker, Ryan, I could hook up with you here too. And he ends up just kind of taking the lead and ends up helping Josh out a little bit.
Yeah, and Josh is not super into this at first. Like, he is, but he's still like, oh my gosh, we're in the office. Yeah, he's hesitant. We're in the office. Anyone could walk in.
I think his exact statement is like, we're the dirty thing in here. Like, we're dirty. Not the office.
Yeah.
So it's fine. Which, like, I don't think that probably made Josh feel any better with his OCD and germaphobe.
I don't think Angel was really trying to make him feel better.
I don't think he was, but he made himself feel better, and that's what matters.
I do love, too, that Angel goes to his friends, and he is talking to them about Josh, and he really wants to, like, be more with Josh. He doesn't want to just be friends with benefits, or I guess not even friends. They're just benefits.
Mm-hmm. He doesn't just want to be benefits.
So he's trying to figure out like how to get closer to Josh and how to start dating him. And they're giving him like different advice, and they're like, play it cool. And he's like, I don't know how to do that.
And you know what? Kudos. Like, at least he knows his strengths. They were like, yeah, how about you play hard to get? He's like, I'm not. I'm the easiest to get. And you know what? We love him for that.
They're just both kind of on the opposite ends of Josh is thinking, why would Angel settle for me? I'm like a germaphobe and I'm boring, and he could be having so much more fun. And Angel on the opposite end is like, why would Josh want to settle for me? Because he's so well put together and he has his life together, and I'm just living with roommates, and I'm not in my dream career, and I'm a little bit of a playboy. And then they realize that they both like each other, and they get together, and it's perfect.
Yeah, it really is. I will say the bonus stories to this were also perfect.
So cute.
So, I mean, obviously the main story ends with the two of them getting together. It also ends with them kind of finally deciding to like live together. Mm-hmm. And they're not like fully incorporated and living together yet, but Angel is staying there, and he decides to like say I love you before they leave, and they're just both so happy.
They do also have like a very public confession from Josh where this is when they both realize that they have feelings for each other, and they're having a little bit of back and forth.
It started out as a little bit of a public spat before it was a public confession.
Yeah, and then Josh finally at the end, when people are like starting to like, you can see in the background the eyes watching them, mm-hmm. and he tells Angel, I love you, and then everyone starts clapping for him. It's great. And then Angel doesn't say it back. I loved that part. It was just funny because
he does start crying.
He cries, and Josh is like, I know you love me, just say it. And Angel's telling him, you can't make me say it.
Yeah, it's true. Like, I can know how I feel and not say something. But he does end up saying at the end, which is super cute.
Yeah.
There were multiple different side stories, but even before I get into that, I had a favorite part of the story. And I'm curious what yours is, because I want to know if they're the same. It's like a completely almost insignificant part. So it's probably not the same.
Oh my gosh.
But I'm just curious.
I don't know. I'm trying to think. I mean, the whole thing was my favorite.
Yeah. I'd say my favorite part of the story is the whole story.
Specifically, my favorite part of the story was everything.
Okay, so my favorite part, in about the middle of the story, you really see Josh start to like lean on and trust Angel. Mm-hmm. And he eventually asks Angel to be like his personal cleaner for his house.
Yeah.
And like he touches on it early on in the story, like he just doesn't trust anybody to do it. So as the reader, you know that this means that he has a lot of trust in Angel at this point, and it's kind of like a growth moment. I know, kind of weird to like hire him as your personal cleaner when you're also kind of in a weird situationship. But my favorite part comes when they go to make a contract together, and Josh writes up this contract.
Yes.
And he's like, all right, Angel, here's the contract. I'll basically like do this. Like, here's the amount of money you're getting paid. And he's like starting to just like touch on parts of it. And Angel signs the contract without reading it.
And then Josh rips it up and he's like, why would you sign this without reading it?
He's like, it could be the shystiest thing. You wouldn't even know what's in it because you didn't read the contract. And he's like, what? Are you trying to cheat me? He's like, I trust you. I don't need to trust the contract. And Josh is like, that's what contracts are for.
Oh my gosh.
It was very funny to me.
That was a great scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It literally, I mean, you probably could have done without the scene and the entire like storyline, but it was my absolute favorite.
Yeah.
So absolutely adore that.
I did
but
love
a close
that.
second is there is a side story with Angel's family on the phone with him, and they're speaking in Spanish because his name is actually Angel, which is great and lovely, but he just goes by Angel. And he's talking in Spanish to his family, and then he looks over at Josh. He's like, oh, my family's so excited to meet you. And he's like, well, you did tell them I'm adorable. And you find out that like this entire time they've been dating for like over a year, and Angel had no idea that Josh spoke Spanish.
Yeah.
And so every time Angel has yelled at him and like gotten into arguments and like gone into Spanish, Josh knew what he was saying. He's like, I've worked with clients who speak Spanish. I learned the language forever ago. And I love that it's just like, that's how they learned that Josh speaks Spanish. He like didn't let on at all.
Yeah, that was a funny moment. I also liked the suit jealousy when they're going to the retirement party of the like head lawyer.
Michelle.
Yeah, Michelle. And Angel comes out and he's wearing this like baby blue suit, and it's like got no buttons on it. It's a little scandalous, I'd say, for an office party, but he wears it well. Mm-hmm. And when Josh is like, where did you get this suit? Angel tells him it's from an ex-boyfriend, and Josh immediately wants to like burn the suit. It's like, you can never wear this again.
He's like, baby blue's not your color.
I love it. And I love at the end too, where he's like, okay, we're getting rid of this suit. I don't care. I'll buy you every suit you want, but you can't wear this again. And I just loved it.
It was really cute. I also do like when they go to this retirement party, you have Angel getting drunk. I mean, as probably most people do. Mm-hmm. And Josh's ex is there because Josh's ex is now married to like a judge who's really close with Michelle, who's retiring. And Alan, the ex, keeps like having this banter with Josh and having this banter with Angel. And he's just a weasel. I don't like him. I don't think you're supposed to.
No.
But like he and Josh kind of have their little spat, and they're both like throwing insults, very low key at each other. And then Angel's just sitting there like making moves and being super flirtatious.
Just to like stir the pot.
Just to stir the pot.
Yeah.
And Josh has to like pull him aside and be like, get your act together. We're at a retirement party.
Oh my gosh, that was great.
It's so great.
And then, I mean, the scene where they're in court too, and Angel is there to support Josh while he's in trial, but he has no idea what's going on, so he like looks at the paralegal next to him and is like, what's happening?
Yeah, tell me what's going on in this case. I kind of don't listen to Josh when he tells me.
I mean, if that just doesn't say long-term relationship, I don't know what does.
I mean, yeah.
I don't know if my husband could tell other people what I do.
No. I think that my husband probably could, but he's like overly attentive. So, yeah, it's like he might even know better than I could say. But all in all, I think this story just like struck a chord for me. I loved it. It was so, so cute. And it just has like a special place in my heart because I'm like the type of person in my family who is like, no, there is a right way to fold that blanket and you folded it wrong. And my poor sweet husband is just like, okay, and completely accepts it. So yeah. It just kindred spirits, me in this story. But it was so good. I'm glad you had me read it.
Yeah, me too.
So now we get to move on to High Class Homos. This story is precious.
I only know about this story from you too, because you actually did start to read this a while ago and talked about like maybe the first 10 to 20 episodes.
Yeah, I think it was just like 10 of them.
Yeah, and now there are 200.
Yeah, there's a lot.
And it's just like the cutest bubblegum pop color palette ever.
Yeah.
The characters, I love absolutely every single one of them. We have Safia and August as our main prince and princess, and they are best friends.
Yes.
And they are both gay. And so they decide to get married to each other so that they don't have to marry other people who they don't want to marry, and then they can have their own relationships on the side.
Yeah.
August has someone in mind. He is madly in love with one of the commanders of the military, Percy, who is super oblivious to this at the beginning.
He's such a cute little himbo.
Adorable. I loved it so much.
Percy has some of the best moments in this entire story. And I know, like, we're still doing kind of character intros.
Yeah.
But I'm so excited to dive in because, like, all my favorite moments, I think, have Percy in it.
Percy and August are just so cute. But then on the other end, we have Safia, and she is like, okay, I know I want to fall in love with a maid, but there are so many pretty maids. How am I going to pick one?
Yeah.
And so she does go to the kitchens to try and, like, you know, just
feel it out.
Yeah, flirt with all the girls in the kitchen, and they all love her because she's super personable. She's very sweet, and she's just, like, the best character ever. But there's actually one person who doesn't love her, and she's the head of the kitchen.
Odette.
Odette, yeah. So Odette is like, get out of my kitchen. You're distracting everyone.
It's fair. To be honest, she's running like the whole thing by herself while all these maids are distracted.
Yeah, they're all like, oh, Princess Safia, would you like to try this sweet?
Yeah, and Odette's like, I made that. Give it back.
So first she asks a maid named Marla to go on a date, and they do end up getting together, her and Marla. And they have a really good time. They, like, develop feelings for each other slowly because neither one of them was, like, they didn't know each other at first. So it was kind of like, I think you're cute, let's date. Whereas with, like, Percy and August, it's like, I've been in love with you since I met you and I know you very well. So two different types of love stories here.
Yes.
And so they go to the town and they have, like, just a really cute date on the town. They all end up being friends. So we have two other main characters, Odette, I said, and Lucas is the other. He's also a knight. And so the six of them are kind of like just this really cute little friend group. They have picnics together and things are going well, but there is a ball that happens. And at this ball, we meet one of the villains of the story.
This villain was so interesting.
Yeah.
I love what they did
with
this character. The villain's name is Nicolosi, and they made it so that you would hate him.
Yeah.
And you do.
But they do, like, a good job of showing his backstory, too. So you do feel bad for him a little bit, but then he doesn't redeem himself at all.
You kind of understand him better.
Yeah. You can empathize with where he's coming from and how he ended up as he is, but you don't like him because he's not likable.
Yeah. But to be fair, I think he gets to a point where he doesn't like himself either.
Yeah, but then he, like, totally goes back on it. And he's like, oh, no, it's still. So I guess the story of him and why he's the villain in this is that he used to be friends with Princess Safia, and he wanted to pursue her romantically. And she said, no, thank you. I like women and you are not a woman, so can we just be friends? And he used this against her and started spreading rumors about her and saying that she flirts with all the maids and she's not good and all this other stuff gets out about her. And so she feels really betrayed because it wasn't her choice to, like, say all of these things.
Yeah, like, it wasn't her telling people about her own sexuality or anything else. And so automatically that's already betraying your trust. But not even that, like even just when they would interact with one another, he started getting extremely aggressive and controlling. He would like grab her arm and just like make her uncomfortable, talk over her, get like really aggressive. And she just really was like, no, like it hit a point. And like he pushed me down at one point. Like this isn't healthy and this isn't a true friendship.
Yeah, and he like was saying bad things about her because she has one of her legs is a prosthetic leg, and he calls her like a cripple at one point. So he's just like very mean but doesn't realize it.
Yeah. I mean, he eventually realizes it.
But then he takes it back. Like he realizes it for a second and then he's like, no, I'm right. Safia's a witch. And so I don't like him as a character.
Yeah.
I love the plot line with him in it, though, because he comes to stay at the castle. He's, like, a very influential aristocrat. And so he is going to be at this ball. Safia and August have announced their engagement, and they have promised themselves to each other but they haven't gotten the blessing from the king yet. Like, there's still steps that they need to do before they can have a wedding. But he finds out that August is going to marry her, and he's like, I am going to save August because he is my best friend. And he doesn't know that she likes women and not men, so I have to save him. And August the whole time is trying to like subtly be like, no, we don't have that problem. Like, we love each other and we have a very good relationship. And he's just so dense about it.
Nicolosi is just like, it just speaks to his good character. He's such a good guy.
Funny. Oh my gosh, it is so funny.
Yeah, he's like, wow, he's so madly in love. He's being tricked.
He's being tricked. Yeah, he's like, oh, we're in the same boat. Like, he is just falling for her just like I did, and I just need to show him that she's a witch. And he wants to ruin the wedding too.
Yeah.
So that happens a little bit later, but he is like the villain of the first season.
Yeah. And he's a good villain.
Yeah, he is.
I will say, so when it comes to the first season, you obviously get to see this blooming relationship for Safia. And at the same time, you see August he's a little more subtle about his feelings. So you see him volunteer to teach Percy how to read. Because Percy's like, wow, August, you're just so cool. You know how to read. Like, you're so smart and intelligent.
Yeah.
And August is like, I could teach you. And Percy is a great student. So they start out with the story Cinderella. And unfortunately, Percy's doing really well. So August is like, I don't think we need to do the lessons anymore because you're actually just such a good student. And Percy's like, no, we could just like do a book club or something together. But I love that he's teaching him how to read because there is a callback to this later on. And it is one of my absolute favorite moments where they end up like reading a letter out loud from Safia. She gets into a huge and like very public fight with Nicolosi at this party that August is hosting because Nicolosi is getting aggressive, smacks Odette across the face because commoners were invited and he thinks they snuck in. Yeah, he thinks they snuck in and he's like, I'm going to go and report this to the king. Yeah. And he smacks Odette across the face. And so Safia ends up like kicking him in the chest.
With her metal leg.
Yeah. Yeah. The king doesn't take to it kindly, especially because Nicolosi is an esteemed guest and they're working on a treaty with their kingdoms. And even though Safia was allowed to stay as an extended guest because the king knows that August has been kind of courting her and whatever else, he's like, you have to leave. Like, bad publicity, whatever else. Like, people are going to get upset about this. I can't have you staying here. Things need to blow over. And you do find out she's not, like, accepted well in her kingdom. Like, even her family looks down on her. And so it was like a saving grace to be able to stay.
Yeah, she's having a much better time in August's kingdom, and everyone is much nicer to her there. They're more open, and like people are just mean to her in her own kingdom, and her parents are like, they love her, but they don't show it well.
They don't know how to show it, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's not that they're intentionally mean to her, but they don't treat her well.
Yeah, and they make it very obvious. It's almost like they're trying to just marry her off with whoever to kind of get her off of their hands. They're like, since when are you such a problem child?
Yeah.
And so when Sophia's sent back, she's just miserable. And she's writing to August. She's like, oh, tell everyone so much that I miss them. And it comes up where she says at the end, and give Percy a kiss from me. And he goes, and August is reading it out loud to everyone because everyone's really concerned about Sophia's, mental well-being and everything else, having to return back to her kingdom. And so August is reading it out loud, and he changes the ending to, and give Percy a hug from me. And Percy's reading over his shoulder, and he goes, they don't spell a hug like that. That's spelled Kiss. And he's like crumbling the letter.
He's like, is that an alternate spelling?
Yeah, he's like, you're such a good reader.
Oh, I love it.
I adore them so much.
They get into a pickle at this point, though.
Yes.
Because they still want to get married. August convinces his father, like, Sophia's the one I love. I want to marry her.
Yeah.
And she convinces her parents. She is told by her parents, you can marry August or you can marry someone, but you're not allowed to leave the castle until you are married.
Like, until you're engaged.
And August's father says she has to come here to accept the proposal. So they're kind of like playing chicken with each other.
There's not really too much to do, except Sophia does end up running into, just by chance, a witch that she had helped earlier on when she was kind of going out and about incognito.
I love that the witch calls her bread girl.
The witch ends up like posing as this poor person in the streets, and Sophia gifts all of this bread to her. And she's like, oh, here, you can have this bread. One of the bread loaves is radish because they over-ordered radish at the kingdom. So funny. And she gives it to the witch, and the witch is like, heck yeah, like, I'm not poor, but I'm going to take all this bread. Thanks, bread girl. And this same witch does multiple favors. She's like, I owe you at this point, so it's fine. She gifts her like a really nice prosthetic leg with a bunch of jewels all over it. And then she actually goes and breaks into the treasury of Sophia's family to steal all these money and jewels. And she sees that it's Bread Girl's house. So she's like, oh my gosh, Bread Girl, what are you doing here? How's it going, girl? Can you hide me out in your room for a little while? I'll owe you another favor. And so Sophia has this pickle, but she's like, you need to find a way to get me out of here.
Yeah.
I can't stay stuck here because my parents aren't going to let me go. We have to get married within the month. Otherwise, they're going to marry me off to someone else. And so the witch is like, I got you. So she makes her beautiful little familiar. His name is Merlin, and he's a giant, like just a little blob frog with wings.
Yeah, he's almost like a frog, like the frog from Shrek.
Yes.
the balloon.
Exactly, with little wings.
Yeah.
And she just makes him into like a giant monster. And he's just like crushing everything and ends up like knocking Sophia out of her window. So Sophia almost falls to the ground, but they give her a little bubble to give her a soft landing. And Sophia uses this as a reason to be like, I'm not safe here and I need to leave.
I need to go back and be with August.
And her parents are like, fine.
So she gets to go back. They do get to get married. The witch, I feel like it's important to note that she was also in love with August.
She was. There are so many intertwined storylines throughout this. And yeah, the witch definitely was in love with August. Like, she fell and like tripped. And then August like lended her a hand and she was like, that's the one.
He's it for me.
And as soon as August kind of like let her down, she was like, okay, I'm a witch. That's what I am now.
Yeah.
And so August is like, oh my God, I made her into a witch. She's evil now. So there's wanted posters for her everywhere.
She's the most wanted witch in the kingdom.
Mm-hmm. And she's just absolutely goofy.
I love her.
Like, everyone assumes this malicious intent, and she's kind of just crazy.
She's funny. She's so funny. I love her.
But it comes down to the wedding, and Sophia and August are really just excited about this. I really love that they have a conversation beforehand with the king, who's genuinely so concerned. He's like, I didn't marry for love. Like, it was a political marriage, and I fell in love with my wife, but she never really fell in love with me, and she ran away. And I don't want to see August in that kind of a relationship. So I need to know that you guys love one another. And Sophia's like, I do love him. Mm-hmm. And it's not a lie. Like, there is so much love there.
Yeah.
It's not romantic love, but it is, I love August. He's my person. And thank goodness that, like, we can marry one another and be in each other's lives for forever.
Mm-hmm. They do, like, after they get married too. They're in their marital bed and they're just so excited. They're like, oh my gosh, we get to have sleepovers every night.
They're like, we've never really had a sleepover. This is really cool. They are like, I mean, it's just the best of friends now getting to hang out for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're super jazzed, obviously. But you do have Nicolosi trying to crash the wedding. And they've made this wedding public so that anybody who wants to come from the kingdom can join. Mm-hmm. So you have a lot of people like Nicolosi, like higher class aristocrats, who are kind of pissed off that just anybody has joined in. But his entire goal is, he tells Sophia before the wedding, he's like, either you tell August that you're a lesbian and you call off this wedding, or I'm going to proclaim it in front of everybody at the wedding. Mm-hmm. And then Odette's going to get in or Marla's going to get in trouble because you're not supposed to be having these relations with people, and she's a maid. So obviously Marla will be their first line of attack. They're not going to go after whoever else. And as soon as Nicolosi stands up at this wedding to try to ruin it, he gets hit because the entire side of the church, like, busts out. And you find out that the witch saw the flyer, and she feels so betrayed that Bread Girl is marrying the love of her life that she decides to ruin the wedding by kidnapping Sophia and taking her to the roof. And Sophia's like, I mean, it's not my information to tell, but August is gay. And she's like, oh my gosh, like, I've officially lost the love of my life. I lost him before he was even mine.
To her credit, though, she does then take Sophia back and is like, all right, it's fine. We can just be friends now.
Yeah. She's like, all right, Bread Girl, I wanted to be your friend anyways.
I do love, too, that they know that Nicolosi is going to make this stand. So they're coming up with a preemptive plan of how they can make sure that he doesn't ruin the wedding. Mm-hmm. And my favorite part of their plan, you probably know, is that they know he is allergic to cats. Yep. And they decide to bring all of the cats that they can find into the church so that he will have an allergic reaction, and it works.
It works. He has the worst allergic reaction. I love, they have like multiple images of Percy going around and rounding up the cats, and he's just like covered in cats. Just so he can enact this plan. But I mean, it is a complete shit show. But of course, the witch does end up bringing Sophia back, and August is like, oh, before there's another interruption, please let me join hands with my wife. And they put the rings on, and they're like, marry us now, hurry. And so the priest is like, sure, like, you may now kiss the bride. And they kind of look at each other like grossed out. They're like, ooh, we didn't consider that part.
What, so, he gives her a kiss on the forehead,
Sophia
but what's the
pretends to pass out.
Yeah.
And he goes, oh no, the shock of being kidnapped by the witch. It must have upset her. And so he's like, can I please just kiss my beloved's forehead? And he's like, yeah, okay, whatever. He's like, yeah, now you're man and wife. So, I mean, really, this story is just mass chaos. There's so much happening, but it all ties together so flawlessly. And I love it.
I love it so much.
I don't want to spoil so much.
No, I think we should leave it there. That is like not the entirety of season 1.
But the majority.
But that's a majority of season 1. We left off the kind of ending of season 1, and then season 2, it shifts at this point. Season 2 has like a new focus that they're working on, and they're working separately for a while. They all come back together. There are so many main characters in this one. They're all perfect. It is the cutest story ever. The episodes are not like short, but they're also not super long. So it's not too hard to catch up on this one.
No, I know that like seeing 200 episodes feels really intimidating. But like if you're in the mood to binge, you can really get through this whole series in like 3 days.
And if you've read Gwen and Art Are Not in Love and you really liked that, this is a great webtoon to pair with that.
Or the other way around.
Or if you've read this, read Gwen and Art Are Not in Love because it is great. The audiobook, also great. I love audiobooks, and this was a good one.
I absolutely adore it. The only other note that I will put out there is that this is also getting a physical print in November of this year.
Yeah.
And I will be getting it.
I think I have to as well.
It's so darn cute.
It really is.
I just love all of it. It handles a lot of different themes really well for as silly of a comic as it is. Like, it doesn't take itself too seriously. It really does just handle some sensitive topics as well, just flawlessly, in my opinion. So, highly recommend. I'm so glad you got me to read further on this one because I loved it when I first read, like, the first, 10 episodes. But it's so good. It's so consistently good.
Yeah.
Like, there's not a single lull. You want to continue reading every single episode.
I'm so excited to keep reading this one week to week now.
I know. It's so exciting. So, I think everyone else should be too. I am so excited for your birthday month.
Happy early birthday to me.
Yes. It's going to be a month of this.
Yes.
So I'm really excited. But I'm also really excited to talk to everybody about all of the incredible stories that you're choosing for your birthday month. So we are looking forward to talking to you all on the next one.
Goodbye.
Bye.